Doing it live? Oh. But you probably know why I'm here because you've been listening to this show since the beginning. It's the Slamcast. Well, not live. We're not live. We're doing this pre-recorded. But we are joined again by the executive producer of executive producers, Mr. Michael Burhan.
Hey, yo.
I see what I did there? It's 19 years after the anniversary, or it's the 19-year anniversary of the debut of Scott Hall on WCW, which started the NWO. I started the show like that. You like that? You see what I did there?
Say hello to the bad guy.
This is where the big boys play. Notice the adjective play. I got a big boy with me. Nick Horaceck is on the podcast with me as well.
Yep.
There, twice in a row. I'm on fucking fire for an intro. We got a lot to talk about, man.
Oh, so fuck me, a lot to talk about. The news has been breaking all over the place.
Yes, so strap yourselves in. Do what you gotta do. Whatever you need to do while you ritually prepare to watch this show every week. Do what you gotta do because we're just not stopping. We're getting right into it, man.
If news was tables, they would be fucking doing a pay-per-view.
Holy shit! Did we have some fucking news this week, gentlemen? Let's not even bury the lead or anything, because I thought this story was not real when it first happened. It took me at least 5 minutes of scrolling Twitter, and when I saw it, everyone was posting it. I'm like, this is real. This is actually happening. If you are, oblivious to the fact of what is going on, Ring of Honor is coming to TV. Real TV that actual people watch, not some obscure cable provider that's only available in some markets. Real TV. Not just any real TV, though. They're going to the Destination America network. Why is that odd, you say? Well, unless you've been living under a rock or just don't pay attention and thought it died like I did, that's what Impact Wrestling is on.
Yep.
What? I know. This is the world we're living in, folks. 2 independent wrestling programs will be on the air, one right after another, on Wednesday nights starting next week. I mean, holy shit. What a world we're living in.
The thing that people don't get, and there's a lot of people have been like, this is the end of TNA wrestling, and others...
Well, it is. It is the end of TNA wrestling. Let's face it.
But others are sitting there going, oh, you know what, this is just Destination America trying to pad out the wrestling. What they don't understand is, now, I want to give school people a little bit of what Ring of Honor is. Ring of Honor is actually owned by a broadcasting corporation known as Sinclair Broadcasting, who have licensed the rights. So basically they have syndicated their show, which is on their local networks, to Destination America, which means they're paying less than what they're paying to produce TNA's programming. And this is what they don't get. TNA, it costs them a lot of money for TNA to actually have this show produced. It comes in something, I think, that what they've said is about $250,000 to produce the TNA show that's going on at the moment, and they're not really getting too much bang for their buck because a lot of people don't want to advertise during professional wrestling. Go on, Nick.
Well, because advertisers don't want to advertise during Impact Wrestling.
Well, it's not that. It's the advertisers on Destination America. They pay per the time slot, not the program. So if they see the time slot is slagging, they're not going to want to put anything on. I mean, that's like their advertising strategy basically boils down on is we're trying to catch people changing channels in between commercials on other channels. So they schedule their breaks different. The whole staging wrestling on a Friday night when they wanted to was just not working for them financially. Now, maybe a change to Wednesday night, they see something that they might be able to work with there. Who knows? I just think that this is the death nail in the coffin when it comes to Impact Wrestling.
I think it's done. It's done. Done. If
it's not dead, this is definitely the fatal gunshot wound that like Tupac is going to kill them 5 days later.
It's not a fatal wound. TNA have got programming everywhere. The thing that Dixie Carter needs to do is get out of her own asshole. And I'm sorry to say this. I know a lot of people think that I'm being ignorant. I'm being an asshole for saying this. But Dixie needs.
They think that you hate Dixie Carter. I don't know what you would how they would come to that opinion, but
The thing is, I think she's kind of in the same category as Vince Russo. Someone who believes that she belongs in professional wrestling, but has no idea or experience, but thinks that she's changed the face of it. It's one of those individuals. But regardless of my personal
change the face. God, I would love to hear Dixie Carter. That would make Dixie Carter the Kanye West of professional wrestling.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. Excuse me for a minute. I just want to say something real quick.
I'm sorry, Seth. I'm sorry, Seth Rollins. You might have the hottest gimmick of all time right now, but I changed the face of wrestling by my shitty programming, by having Hulk Hogan's daughter marry Bubba Ray Dudley. Yep.
Or her unbelievably lazy eye.
Oh, see, I'm gonna leave the lazy eye out of it.
I have a lazy eye, so I can understand that.
I'm going to leave the lazy eye out of it, but make fun of it secretly on my own time.
The thing is, I agree with what's being said here. Ring of Honor is cheaper programming. Destination America is using this as a way to filter TNA out. For those people who think TNA is going to be staying there for the long haul, it's not going to happen unless Sinclair Broadcasting decides to buy the promotion out from under Dixie and just decide, we're going to buy this. We're going to add it to our bolstered TV programming. It means they've got set pieces, they've got HD cameras, they've got enough to make the Ring of Honor product pop. But it will be the death in the nail, the kind of death in the nail of TNA, because the promotion as it is will be gone. It would basically be filtered into Ring of Honor if that happens. I'm not saying that's going to happen because it's very highly unlikely. It's a scenario. It's me using a theory here.
Yeah, I don't think Sinclair is interested in getting into the wrestling game any more than they already are. But definitely, if the ratings are there, I mean, the ratings would have to be spectacular for Destination America and Discovery Channel to keep producing episodes of Impact. They would have to far exceed what they're getting now and far exceed what they are paying Sinclair to syndicate the ROH program and pay for producing episodes of Impact Wrestling.
But what I'm saying here is the other thing that's going to happen is TNA are going to have to find another home for their product, and I don't believe it's on nationally syndicated television.
No, it's not on any television whatsoever. I think unfortunately, once your program gets dropped from 2 cable networks in a year, there's very unlikely a third is going to come in and swoop in, because let's face it, Destination America in and of itself was I had never even heard of the channel until Impact Wrestling signed on with them. So I mean, yes, there is a new cable channel popping up every week, but I mean, where does it go from this? If it is the end, which nothing obviously has official, but read Twitter like you read tea leaves, man. There are Impact talent that is very upset with how this is going on. I think MVP himself, most of the wrestling community found out about this at the same time. This was. We joke about, the best kept secret in wrestling. This was the best kept secret possibly in all of professional wrestling history, probably since the WWE's acquisition of WCW, there has never been a more, secretive dealing. Just literally came out of left field, and people were like, what? Is this for real? MVP himself, he didn't know about it. And then it took him a few minutes to get his bearings about Beckham, and then MVP puts out in a tweet, promoters, this is my email address. Book me now book MVP now at gmail.com.
But he did do a session on his YouTube channel talking and discussing about this and saying that as talents, they're contracted talents to TNA and Destination America. They should have been known about this. He's not worried. He's been assured that things are not going to go the way that we all estimate they're going to go about. But let me explain this to people, and I think this is what people need to understand. Like those who basically work within the professional wrestling community, and those who are, part of this. The thing that people need to understand is we're all guessing. Nobody's privy to what goes on behind these doors, but there are things that I want to point out. Dixie has lied before to talent. Dixie has lied to fans before. And the one thing that I think has been hurting TNA is the constant rebooting of the product. They've rebooted the show 4 times?
I've lost count, but yes, something like that.
At least they never did a complete reset where they stripped everyone of the championship.
They haven't reached Russo WCW level yet. They're not that bad, I guess you could say. But that's like saying, oh, you'd rather get this kind of cancer rather than, another kind of cancer.
I agree, and at the same level, though, this is where the problem lies. In terms of anybody, if you are anyone in the wrestling business, the only way TNA is going to survive is if Dixie Carter and her family realize you can't keep pinching money from the company and the talent. It has to be run like an indie promotion now from now on. The way that NXT is doing business at the moment, the WWE has single-handedly created an indie fed that they are now, getting guys from TNA.
They've created their own competition.
Pretty much, and they've created an indie federation inside.
They've created an independent promotion within WWE from which they can mine talent from.
Yeah, this is what basically Shane McMahon tried to do with ECW, and it failed because of a few issues that were happening and power plays that were going on within the company.
Yeah, that had that story and that whole invasion thing been allowed to just cultivate and just slowly build up over a few years. I mean, look, DDP was in it while he was in there in the beginning, but Flair ended up joining, Steiner ended up joining, all these big name WCW guys eventually came in. Goldberg, came in. So had they allowed that, they could have had this ongoing thing for years, but they nixed it, and I mean that 10-man tag at the Survivor Series that year was great. It's a hell of a match, but storyline could have been way better than what it ended up being.
That's exactly it, and the way you got to look at it in terms of what was happening to TNA, a lot of it mirrors what happened to ECW and Spike. ECW was on Spike Television. They were paying them. Now, this is one thing at least
TNN at the time.
Yeah, they were paying them to air their product on TNN. Then the WWE came in after they realised, oh, look, wrestling's drawing money. We're going to now put something in which is a bigger product, coerce them into there, and just literally kill ECW.
I think this is literally it's a reverse ECW, because while they weren't looking for wrestling programming, they were just finding a cheaper way to find wrestling programming, whereas TNN, Viacom, was looking at ways to expand their already current wrestling audience that was on their network, and what better way of getting it than getting the biggest wrestling company on the planet. This is kind of like a reverse that. So we want to keep wrestling on our network, but we don't want to keep funding this crappy wrestling product that we seem to be funding.
Right.
Oh wait, here's something we could get for cheaper that's better.
But this is
infinitely better.
But this is the reason Ring of Honor funds itself. Sinclair is a $1 billion entity that purchased Ring of Honor and said, right, We're going to set everything up. They set everything up. They did like a few hit and misses. It's one of the reasons why Jim Cornette nearly had a fucking hemorrhage with the company. If you actually check out his interview that he did.
Well, I don't know what you mean, Michael. I'm working out a Jim Cornette impersonation. Hell, this is the greatest thing you ever seen.
But he was literally going on about why the company
squeaky.
like fucked itself over a couple of times. And it was one of the reasons.
Kevin Steen, he's never going to amount to anything. I tell you, he's just going to be a fat piece of shit his entire life.
He actually said that, going on from that tangent, he actually said that he never said he wasn't going to be anything. He just said that he needed to lose a little bit of weight, clean himself up a bit.
He's never going to be anything in the world.
I don't know why I'm going so high falsetto with my Jim Cornette.
I'm telling him it's Sheldon from fucking Big Bang Theory.
I just don't know.
But the thing is, if you've got to look at this and look at the way that this is being done, it's in terms of the way that Ring of Honor produces its television, everything's in-house. TNA does the same thing, but yet TNA cost them $250,000 to do it. This is where I don't understand. Whereas Ring of Honor,
They can literally, they run in the same venues almost that they run, especially when they run in New York. And ROH does it for cheaper.
But it sounds like they make a lot more money.
Well, that's remains to be seen. I think they just do it on a lot smaller scale.
No, but they do allow that Ring of Honor, for what it's worth, actually makes a lot more money on its advertising deals that they've made outside. So like for the internet stuff that they do when they air their stuff on the internet, they also get it for their ringside members. So people, if you're a ringside member of the Ring of Honor, you can basically pay and you get the shows early and stuff, and also get like first dibs on pay-per-views and tickets, ringside tickets and stuff.
And those ringside tickets, man. I tried to get those tickets to that New Japan tour. Boy, it was expensive.
They were gone quick.
Well, no, it was like literally to get ringside within the first 3 rows. It was like $100, and I'm like, holy shit! I am not paying $100 to go to an indie show. I'm sorry. New Japan. Yes, it's New Japan, but it's still
right.
Ring of Honor to me is still.
I still consider Ring of Honor a very good promotion. Look at all the talent WWE has now that came from there.
We're not disputing that. We've had that discussion already. It's the breeding ground of talent.
WWE's best developmental territory.
And
exactly.
It literally is. The show itself is the number 2 company now that they've made this deal.
No, yeah, they've elevated themselves. Well, I look at it I look at it on a worldwide scale. I think WWE is the number 1 brand in the world. New Japan is number 2. Now I think they've officially moved into that number 3 slot now, because this just elevates them even further. The relationship with New Japan is just keep on getting better and better. They now are on national TV where people that, it's hard to believe that there are wrestling fans that haven't heard of Ring of Honor in the year 2015, but here we go. Next Wednesday, in just a few short days, they'll expand that to a whole new audience. And there'll be some people that, the Ring of Honor the wrestling fans that are tuning in will be familiar with. They'll recognize Maria Kanellis.
Oh, hell yeah.
Some of them will recognize
How can you not recognize her?
Oh, my God.
I recognize the Briscoes, because the Briscoes have been everywhere. And that's another thing
Yeah.
that Ring of Honor does.
No, I don't think. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about people that have never heard of ROH before or never given Ring of Honor a shot. Because, yes, I do know a few people that have liked that. My friend Adam is, just a complete WWE Impact Wrestling, doesn't pay attention to anything on the independents. It's just, if it's not on TV, it doesn't exist to him.
Well, the thing is as well, the thing is that I want to point out here as basically, I wouldn't call myself a professional wrestling journalist. I'd call myself as someone who's into professional wrestling who does a radio show. But also I've trained in the business, so I know a lot of what happens backstage. The thing what Dixie missed the boat on is the fact that if I was TNA right now, before September hits, I would make a deal with the WWE. That's me. Because officially, once Ring of Honor gets a UK deal, and once they realise, a lot of these British companies realise that TNA don't have a TV broadcast show over in the States, they'll be dropping them. The international shows. everything. So she can either make a deal with Sinclair Broadcasting to sell it off there, or sell it off to
Or-
WWE, or, as Steve Richards has pointed out, maybe even look at buying time on the network.
There would be now. Dixie,
I don't think.
if you're listening,
first of all, the very suggestion of which, just if I was drinking, I would have had to done a spit take. I mean, I could imagine. Here's how I picture in my head that meeting goes. Vince, grapefruit walking into the meeting. Triple H, Triple H and Stephanie flanking him. They're doing their own little walk, but Vince, grapefruit walks into the meeting. Hello, Dixie. So I hear you want some time on my network. Well, in my head he's asking for Scott Steiner promos, but that's just me. I want $10 million. Oh, Vince, I don't have that kind of money. I know my Dixie Carter voice sounds awfully suspicious to my Jamie Noble voice, but it's slightly different. Trust me.
it's slightly different. That's the
Slightly
thing.
different. Slightly different. The slightly different timbre. Well, Vince, I just don't know. I don't even know what Dixie Carter sounds like. But, I could just imagine in my head what that meeting was like. The shit-eating grin on Vincent Kennedy McMahon's face. He's like, don't worry, I'll go a lot easier on you than I was Ted. I'll be gentle.
The thing is, there's a reason why
I'll
people
use
don't
lube.
consider-
Oh.
and I will say this: TNA has its lineage. It has a boat full of stars that came out of that company.
They have one. If okay, I'm not even addressing your thing as actual possible, but if it were to happen, the only viable commodity that Impact Wrestling owns that WWE would want is the library of Sting matches from that part of his career, so they could just basically literally release the definitive Sting anthology just to, cover
Right.
post WCW. Because literally they release a Sting anthology right now. It stops in 2001 and then picks up again in 2015.
Right. It was
Big
like he
gap.
was in witness protection for that.
Yeah,
14
exactly.
years.
Big gap. There's a big gap in discs there.
Yeah.
I did
you know.
laugh when Josh Matthews got really pissed off because they acknowledged Samoa Joe but wouldn't acknowledge Sting. It was
Yeah,
like,
no. And they wouldn't even acknowledge.
I
See,
kinda
here's
think
the
that's
problem
right.
with I'm glad you brought that up, but with Matthew's tweet. Hey, guess what? Samoa Joe has actually wrestled on WWE TV before. Way
Okay,
back in
don't-
'01, I think.
Yeah, way back, in the dark match Velocity days.
I think that was on Metal or Jacked or one of those B
Yeah,
shows.
dark matches. He didn't get an entrance or anything like that. He got
Right.
he got a dark
So
match.
has Daniel Bryan, so has AJ Styles.
So is Christopher
Daniel Bryan.
Daniels.
Daniel Bryan's actually dark match made me laugh even more because he's basically in yard gear. He's in a pair of pajamas and wrestling shoes.
No, but he's also in...
He wrestled he wrestled
in white
Cena on
tights?
Velocity.
Yeah, he wrestled in white tights, white briefs, white kick pads, and white, boots. And at the time, I think he was going through their farm leagues, and they dropped him. Same thing with AJ. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, if TNA want to survive, Dixie has got to learn to put her ego to one side and say, right, the company comes first, and look at ways to make the company profitable. Because at the moment,
Actually, you know what? I think at this point in time, honestly, if I'm Dixie Carter, I'm finding ways to cut my losses and get out of the wrestling
well, isn't
business.
she
Because
doing a reality TV show now for herself?
yeah, I think
God.
that's I guess the one thing that they have that allegedly that they apparently have going in favor because they Destination America, I guess, also in their fact, was just a reality TV show centered around Dixie Carter, a female in an all-male dominated world. I don't know if that, how if that's still in the works, but if that's still their plan and they're still going forward with that, I don't know if it's actually taped itself or been actually filmed or anything else like that, but the success of that show is literally the Hail Mary pass that's in the air at this point
So
in time.
she's going to
because
basically play to the feminists on the fact that
not the feminists, but she's going to play to... She's basically going to exploit...
Okay, Brandon,
Yes.
we can't hear you.
Sorry, did you lose me?
Kind of, yeah.
A little bit there, yeah.
Now? Hello?
Can hear you. We can hear
Good
you.
to hear you, man.
You can hear me? Okay, so basically what it is, she's going to, mortgage her personal life and expose her personal life as a shameless attempt to save this company that she's... I can't even really call it her company because she technically bought it from Jeff Jarrett. So, yes, it's legally her company now, but, there's still, to a lot of people, believe that this is still Jeff Jarrett's company. She's just running it into the ground.
Well, that's
Literally.
Yeah, I just got
Into
the
the
hell out
ground.
of that company long ago. He finally kind of cut his losses years ago. I think it was like right around when he kind of got forced out during the old Hogan era.
Big surprise there.
Yeah, wow, yeah, Hogan forcing
really.
Jarrett out. Why is that?
Oh, really? Hogan and Jeff Jarrett not getting along. Good. Wow, fucking
Oh
shocker.
God, I feel he was a great heel when I started watching TNA. That was when Jeff was having that 11-month title run. He was a great heel.
I'm
He's
the
a great
king of the
talent. He's a hell of a
mountain.
booker.
Oh,
but
I use the JR quote. The guy broke 1,000 guitars but couldn't draw a dime.
He wasn't a draw, but I don't deny how smart the guy is.
He was a good talent. But
the thing is,
yes,
if it
unfortunately,
was a movie, he would never be a lead. He'd be the foil.
he'd be the bad guy, or he was a perfect heel for his time, and then
the lead up to the antagonist. He would never be like the main villain, but he would be.
He tried to adapt too late. Like it was already wrestling was already full into this I guess trash TV product of the 90s or the late 90s 2000s before he started cut and shoot promos on guys in the ring and stuff like that and doing all breaking kayfabe, I guess you could say. I guess I don't know if that goes back to the old school son of a promoter in him, but
I think it kind of does,
Yeah.
and they're
so resistant to change and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh well, Jeff. Too bad. Good luck with Global Force Wrestling.
Yeah, that's what I say. I think he's got something there.
I don't think he's got
something.
I don't think he's got something, but he's at least found,
He's trying something.
He's trying pilots, and he's basically seeing if he can get it off the ground, which is great for him. Now, let me.
Right.
I want to steer the conversation back a little bit to the fact that in the end, nobody, not myself, not any of us here, know what the future of TNA is. It could be that Destination America wants to fill up every block of wrestling to give them a Wednesday night boost, because they're seeing how well TNA's doing in picking up the audience. Or it could be the fact that they've made this deal to expand their audience to Sinclair Broadcasting, because Destination America is very hard to find for most people, believe it or not.
So is Sinclair Broadcasting too, by the way. So this is where it works out both of them. It works out, I think, mostly the side that wins the most out of all this, I think, is Ring of Honor and Sinclair, because, like I said, Sinclair gets a product that they own onto a nationally syndicated channel into markets that they are not in, like major markets like New York and Chicago, major media markets, and Impact or Destination America gets a TV show that they don't have to produce for cheaper than what they were paying to produce a TV show. So it just makes the most sense in the world, I think, that this is the end.
Yeah, it's basically something that they've managed to do, and they're doing very, very well. Now, in terms for TNA, this is could be a good lead up, because it means that people could be, Ring of Honor fans may tune into their promotion from the splashback of what's going on. Could be a good leading, but at the moment, it could be anyone's guess. We're thinking doom and gloom between the three of us, right?
Yeah, I think TNA, their luck has to run out at some point. I think we've hit that point.
3 networks in a year, or if 2 networks in a year.
2 networks in a year.
Cancel you. I highly doubt a third picks you up. I can't even name a third. You don't go up in tiers. They're not. It's not up. You have to go. You can only go down from here, and I can't really name unless it's like I said, some unknown cable network that I don't know of is willing to pick up this wayward wrestling program. But I think the only Impact. The only chance Impact Wrestling stands is if this Dixie Carter reality TV show story was factual, and that's what they were hinging on it for its success for that show. But if that goes away, then there's nothing there for it, and it really just makes sense from a business point. You don't need 2 wrestling shows on your network at the same night, especially 2 competing wrestling shows. There's not going to be any alliance between Ring of Honor and TNA. Like, the talent will work there. You won't see talent going back and forth. You will see no, interpromotional work. Because I mean, if that was the thing, if it was Discovery bought out Sinclair and was going to combine it with Impact and just going to call it Ring of Honor, that would be, huge news, because that shows that they're legitimately trying to compete with WWE. I just think they had something on their network that wasn't quite working. They're going to try and do this that is going to, they think, work. Here's the question that I ask you guys. Do you think this is going to be successful? I mean, Ring of Honor is really, it's a niche product. Yes, it's not they don't have a lot of highly well-known talent. I don't think they're going to be airing their... What would you say?
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe, yes, but I think here's the thing: is I think Joe's deal is not for those recorded shows. They're not going to air the shows that he's done, or he's not going to be performing. It's certainly not going to be performing on future shows that are going to be aired on TV. I think any dates that Joe has with Ring of Honor are purely going to be live appearances. Non-recorded, televised events.
I know he's wrestling on that Aftershock.
Yes, but I don't think that is an iPay-per-view or anything like that. I think that's just a regular live event house show.
In the end, I will say this: they do have him. He's on the roster still. Until a point where WWE is saying no, enough is enough, until he signs that main roster contract.
I know here's what's gonna happen. Is a lot of people from the indies are gonna want the Joe deal. What's gonna be known as. It's I want the Joe deal, where I can still work indies and still work the WWE. That's a pretty sweet deal.
Well, I think we're kind of on that cusp of where Triple H is kind of trying to change the business, because these guys are supposed to be independent contractors, but, with Joe down in NXT, he still gets to work indie dates because he's not going to take that pay cut. He still gets to go out and make money other places and come on, get a pop on NXT once in a while, like he did this week, and saved Solomon Crow from the big powerbomb onto the apron.
Here's the thing: is ROH going to be successful on? I call it no more than a niche product. I mean, they weren't as well known as Impact Wrestling before this. Wrestling fans knew what Ring of Honor was, yes, but I'm willing to bet that a certain percentage, I want to say more than 15% of the WWE's fan base and wrestling fans as a whole probably haven't heard of it. And are these people that have heard of Ring of Honor? Do they have Destination America? Are they going to be around to watch this thing? Because remember, DVR numbers don't count ratings.
The thing is, there's enough scope. Ring of Honor has enough scope and coverage, I think, to work. And if it does work, I think what they're going to do is say, well, we want a second hour of Ring of Honor.
I think if it does work, what we'll see is you'll see more live specials. Instead of doing iPay-per-views, they're just going to do televised live events. They're not going to bother with pay-per-view. The WWE Network has killed off pay-per-view basically. So it's either going to be iPay-per-views only, or they're going to petition Destination America to chip in a little bit to produce a once a month or once every 3 months, like a big live event or some sort of televised special. That's if it becomes super duper successful. I hope it will become successful, but I don't have, I think it's going to be a long, hard road ahead. I think the first it's they've signed on to the end of the year, so the first couple weeks I think they'll be fine, but I think once it gets beyond that, it really goes. It's really gonna be. I don't think. I want to say hard, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had go through some ratings slumps. It's gonna be growing pains, man. That's all I'm gonna say. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna not so quick to jump to this new product, or it's quite frankly might not be for them.
That's exactly it. Now, moving on from that, let's go to our next little bit of news, Mr.
Yeah, just want to do like the quick hits and stuff like that, like the t-shirt stuff and.
Yeah, let's talk about t-shirt stuff, and also for ladies and gentlemen out there, Sunny is still advertising her Skype chat sessions.
Yeah, we did the porn chat last week.
I've seen it all over Twitter. She's still advertising for it.
Oh yeah, of course, because girls got to make money, or a woman has to make money. I really can't even call her a girl at this point.
Well, let's hope that she gets a six-figure deal sorted out with Brazzers.
Please, it just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Even thinking about it.
She knows.
She knows she wants it. Yes. Anyway, so TV stuff. Yeah, t-shirt stuff rather. So I don't know if you guys heard this story, but it's made the rounds. It's made the rounds on the internets. But WWE had to recently pull 2 of its t-shirts for 2 of its NXT stars because of I guess you could call it controversial designs, unapproved designs. The first one of which I guess is just purely incompetence. Or just pure ignorance. The other one is just gross incompetence for something like this to get through. What do you want to go with? Idiocy or incompetence?
It's your show, man. We're just
all right.
here.
Well, the Becky Lynch one.
That one made me laugh. The fact that Floyd Mayweather is actually wearing the fucking.
Oh well, then no,
God.
That's photoshopped. That's photoshopped. That's not actually real. Because you can't actually buy the shirt yet. No shirts have been shipped where it says last kicker. Yeah, yes, if you are unfamiliar with the story, and we'll briefly explain it to you, WWE thought it would be a great idea to, Becky Lynch needs some shirts, let's release some shirts for it. Okay, came up with a shirt that says last kicker. Not only did this shirt that said last kicker, which is a Scottish phrase, and Becky Lynch is very Irish, quite frankly, they very much hype the fact that she is Irish. Is a Scottish phrase. Secondly,
it's like
they decided to make
Baptist Church using the wrong flag for protesting Ireland's.
Yes. That's Westboro. Good job. Secondly, they decided to make this shirt in men's sizes, which is rare for Divas gear. You don't really often see shirts based off of the Divas made in men's sizes.
To be fair, I would wear one of Sasha Banks' shirts.
I'd wear a Paige shirt, but that's for other reasons. Anyway,
moving on.
Creepy Paige moment of the week.
He'd probably wear it while having her picture in his hand and go soon.
Oh God!
One day. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's for another podcast that I'm going to do, the Page Cast. I just literally came up with that idea right now. Anyway,
the Becky Lynch shirts are in pre-order.
Yeah, so this made it all the way to pre-order. Without anybody, realizing that this was a terrible idea. Now, this happens once, I can let it go. But the fact that this happened twice in the same run of merchandise, and the secondly happened so even more egregious, it stuns me. Absolutely stuns me. For those of you who aren't aware, they recently designed their I think this is the first Hideo Itami shirt, right? They didn't have anyone before that, right?
Well, he's only second month into his time on NXT, was it third month now?
He's like third or fourth month in. He got there in the summer.
But you know what I mean? It's like his first T-shirt. But I thought they'd
Yeah.
learn their lesson on the fact that Mick Foley wrote about this in his book, which I talked about. For those of you, if you've never read the first New York Times best-selling book, Have a Nice Day, you should be ashamed of yourselves, and you should go out and buy the book for like $3 in the bargain bin and read it, because he discusses
Like I did.
this very same thing about having problems on Japanese shirts, and the problem being Mr. Host of Hosts.
Yeah, he decided, or this genius at whoever the WWE contracted to design the shirt, decided it would be a great idea to put the Rising Sun flag on Hideo Itami's logo on the T-shirt. Yeah,
And
for
you
those
hear
not
crickets
familiar with the
chirping.
Rising Sun flag, look at any piece of Japanese history from 1940 to about 1944 when we knocked that shit off. The Rising Sun flag was the traditional symbol of Japanese aggression and imperialism to non-Japanese Asians, a highly offensive symbol in non-Asian or non-Japanese Asian culture, even something that's deeply frowned upon in modern Japanese culture. This would be basically like if the WWE's German superstar that they recently just signed, the former ex-German goalkeeper, I can't remember what the guy's name is, Tim Wadenfelder, whatever the guy's name is. This would be like if they had a shirt of him and it was designed like an SS officer's uniform.
Yeah,
Or had the symbols of the Third Reich on the fucking thing.
Yeah, just the blatant insensitivity by what is supposed to be a large multinational billion-dollar corporation. Staggering. Like I can't believe that that something like this, that glaringly obvious, like the Rising Sun flag. First of all, talk about not creative at all to have a white shirt with a red sun and stripes over it. That's like, first of all, not original or creative in any way, shape, or form. Secondly, it's going to offend a good proportion of your audience. What the fuck, WWE? Do you not have anybody paying attention to anything you do anymore?
For a company
Nope.
that's basically gets anal over anything that people do.
Yeah. Does the public relations department was there on just a vacation while that shirt was designed and they just weren't consulted?
Well, here's the thing, because you brought up that this is Foley talked about this in his book. They don't want you to remember things that happened in storylines 2 weeks ago, let alone something Foley wrote in his book. What would be like 20
Almost 15
or 15 years ago?
Yeah, 15 years ago.
Over a decade and a half ago, about. Foley wrote about this in his book. And all of it, it's like, what the hell? Like, are you...
It's
thank God for NXT.
It's mind blowing, like the level of stupidity that must be going on.
Right.
In that
Yeah,
company
it
at
is
times.
dumb. It is literally
So
dumb.
very dumb. Dumb shit.
I don't really get who did it. And I
Oh no, I mean
I assume
WWE passed the
person will be
buck.
probably fired.
I hope so, or at least like if they sourced it out to an independent agency, I hope that they never give that agency any business again.
Well, do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened with Taker and the pyro? When you got like pyro that basically burnt his fucking chest on both sides, and he did I think it was an Elimination Chamber match. He did the match, and apparently Jericho walked in where Taker was talking to Vince. He was getting bandaged up, and Taker just sat there, cool as a motherfucker, and just went to Vince. I don't want you to apologize. I don't want you to like. I'm not going to yell at you. Just make sure that this doesn't happen again. And Vince is just like, yeah, don't worry, he's gone. And just say the pyro guy is never working for the WWE ever again. So
Never working in wrestling again. He's probably not working in pyrotechnics ever again.
apparently the guy's doing
You know-
pyro for like who did Jericho say? It was like one of the big bands. I don't think it was Leonard Skinner. Oh, for fuck's sake, who are they called? It was one of these big like past heavy metal bands are still touring at the moment. but he's doing pyro for them. So yeah.
Jericho would know that because he's in that circle. Exactly. Speaking of Chris Jericho, Jericho was involved in a little bit of news this week. Getting your social media accounts hacked. Chris Jericho invented that.
Oh god, that was hilarious. I had to share that. You know, I remember John Weston on the forum Wrestle Revolution that we have getting really pissy because I shared. He's like, the guy had his account hacked. You know, whoever did this is fucking needs to be dealt with. I'm just like, dude, calm down. It's fucking.
It's funny.
Yeah, it is.
Even
funny.
Jericho had a laugh about it. Like, they tried it again, and Jericho said, "Ha, you tried again. This time, I win. Jericho 2, hackers nothing." And actually, technically, it should be Jericho 2, hackers 1, because they did get through once. They did get you once.
The thing is about it as well, though, obviously he's got more constraints put on it, and they could probably trace back the IP when the person's doing it again. But you can tell it's someone who's childish, that knows a little bit about coding and hacking. It's fine, it happened, it's hilarious, move on.
Yeah, you know what? I don't hold... Like, I saw some of, like, the tweets and shit. I'm like, oh, God.
All I want to know...
What does this guy hope to gain from...
All I want to know are those AJ picks real. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. No one's got any? Nothing? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Okay, Thank you. Let's move on. I'm trying to avoid the... creepy.
It was
creepy moments. It's like
it definitely, dude. You should have seen the Instagram feed for a while, because for a while it got into pictures that could be WWE divas topless, but could also be photoshopped into wrestler porn. Like literally, Chris Jericho fucking John Cena in the ass, like.
At least it's not
like
Seth
dick
Rollins.
going right into his ass.
At least it wasn't. At least it wasn't Seth Rollins and his smallest body part.
I think there probably was, because there was like one small dick picture. I don't know, it was probably about Chris Jericho, but yeah, it was disturbing, and it should be
Jericho invented that.
It should be a warning to all WWE superstars or any person who uses social media. Make sure your shit is protected, and use as much protection as you can.
For the record, the whole AJ thing, I guarantee it was probably the porn star lookalike.
It's the Photoshop.
Well, no, there's a porn star that has actually a pretty dead lookalike of AJ Lee.
Okay, well, you know.
So yeah.
Okay, Nick, just give me a link of the person's name.
So Burhan can do research.
Yeah, I need to research this
extensive research.
It's extensive research. I'm gonna probably come out. There'll be a photo of me like with one of my arms like super pumped, like when
like Quagmire from Family Guy.
Yeah, just
okay.
one
All
of
right.
those.
Now Burhan brought it. Now Burhan made it weird.
Hey, I've got my very own Puerto Rican princess. Give me a break.
Oh, anyway. So yeah, that happened this week. What else happened this week?
Quick thing, I guess WWE is interested in signing AJ Styles.
Well, they said there's murmurs going around that they may be interested.
I said this last week. I think this is just rumors, because I think AJ's got a pretty good gig right now as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
But I think they noticed that because of what's happened with Samoa Joe. Because look, right, who would even thunk it, right, that Samoa Joe would get a deal like the one he currently has, where he can do indie dates and work NXT?
Well, I think he could do indie dates because he was probably already booked those indie dates before WWE signed him or displayed.
No, he's booking more. Apparently, in the contract, he's allowed to do more indie dates at the moment. And work his NXT schedule, because he didn't want to lose out on the excess money that he's making on the indie scene, which is a good thing for everyone involved. And Triple H is allowing him to have this sort of deal at the moment because he wants to bring him on the roster. He's doing whatever it takes to have Joe signed and keep him signed until he gets offered a main roster contract. It's kind of similar to what happened with Kevin Owens, who went from the NXT deal and then got brought up to the main roster and got signed to a main roster contract, meaning that he's earning a lot more money than he did as part of the smaller promotion, even though he's still the NXT champion. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think, by the way, Kevin Owens sets the record from being signed to WWE, brought up to NXT, and then signed to the main roster.
But I think
All of a sudden,
single-handedly,
big
he's
program.
brought-
He was just on SmackDown this week, and he makes this great promo.
Oh,
Well, by the way, on
I'm
NXT, he did when they started doing the John Cena sucks thing. It's funny. What's funny about that chant is you don't chant that Sami Zayn sucks, even though he does too. Just shuts it down. And then he's on SmackDown. He's like, 15 World Championship, 2 Royal Rumble wins, 57 different ugly T-shirt designs, and 1,000 ways to suck.
Oh my God! I'm telling you, when this guy's gonna be the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, it's gonna be great. I'm telling you, they can either go really one of two ways with Kevin Owens once they do bring him up to the roster or full time to the main roster. They could either, again, he could be the anti-establishment authority figure, like, Triple H, I remember what you said about me apparently all those years ago, yada yada yada, and that could affect that relation. Or
No.
inevitably, when the Seth Rollins face turn happens, because I think Seth Rollins is too popular right now with fans not to turn face at some point, but when it happens, imagine Kevin Owens being that guy for the Authority, just like the most
he will
unlikely.
be the next crown jewel of the Authority. He's probably going to be the mid-card champion of the Authority, because I've got a funny feeling that Triple H is going to rebuild the Authority with young guys. That looks like is what he's doing at the moment, and I think this is a good idea. I'm going to put this on record right now.
He's gonna. What he should do, he should have Seth Rollins Evolution, or Seth Rollins
he's
4
gonna
Horsemen.
be the United States champion come after Elimination Chamber. I've got a funny feeling he will win the United States Championship from John Cena.
Or we'll talk about that in our Elimination previews,
Yeah, that's
chamber
kind
preview
of,
to end the show.
I can leave that to end the show, and I'll go into it a little bit further afterwards. But this is, I would say, is going to be the main thing. He's going to be the secondary big dog. He's going to be on a leash for now. He'll be on a leash.
I don't know if he's already his second promo in the WWE, and he's already saying, calling out John Cena's T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yes.
No, but he's going to be on a leash. He'll be helping Rollins until the kind of the fact that he will,
or a Royal Rumble situation or something like that. Like Rollins loses the belt, or Rollins is the champion and Kevin Owens wins the Royal Rumble or something
or
like that.
Or when the Authority eventually turns on Rollins, and there'll be dissension that leads to kind of him turning on Rollins and the whole Authority beating the living fuck out of Rollins. We'll probably see a revival of the Shield at some point, where you would have Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns against this new Authority. Don't quote me on that, because I know that Reigns could turn heel come Elimination Chamber.
I don't think that's happening.
There's murmurs about it, but still,
there is.
There's been murmurs of John Cena turning heel for the last 7 years. Okay,
no, but
right.
that's what I'm saying. There's murmurs. I'm not gonna. This is why I don't say rumors. There's murmurs.
Yeah.
Now,
No. All right.
and
when I fart,
it's kind of like.
Sorry, and when I fart, my
speculation.
ass murmurs, okay?
Yeah, and you know what it is? It's like wrestlers are the biggest gossips of fucking of them all, you know what I mean?
Right.
And also Meltzer's one of the biggest trolls on the internet, the fact that he's...
fuck that guy.
As Al Snow put it, he's the best worker in the industry because he's never worked a day in his life in the industry, but makes probably 6 figures from the industry.
He also covers MMA, so he doesn't, does more than just wrestling.
But you know what I mean? He's a guy who's able to make a lot of money from the industry without actually participating in said industry.
It's a good gig.
But going on from that, right? The fact is, I could see him as a de facto number 2 in the Authority. Even to the point where you'd have Kane as kind of being in...
Dave Meltzer? You can see Dave Meltzer as the de facto number 2 in the Authority?
No, Kevin Owens, aka Kevin Steen, as de facto number 2.
Oh my god.
As Kane.
That was too good. That was too good of a joke to pass up.
He will basically be, and I'll say this right now: if it was the 4 Horsemen, he would be the Arn Anderson to Rollins' Ric Flair.
Obviously.
And then you're going to have someone else who take the role of Tully Blanchard, and then you have the de facto 4th guy. So this is going to be built up. You're going to have basically him with the United States Championship. Whoever holds the IC Championship will be the de facto number 3, and then you would have the tag title holders, whoever they will be, inside
J&J Security.
I don't see it. I don't see these two holding the tag titles or any titles. But they're
No,
I
in like
think-
a completely joke sense, or like they bring the New Day into the fold somehow. Or...
I doubt they would
Yeah.
even bring a New Day to the fold. If anybody in the tag teams at the moment, I could see them putting together a tag team. The Ascension are laughable at best, so I don't really see them in that role with the Authority.
not in the good way, not in the same way that the primetime players try to be.
Well, the primetime players are so over at the moment as faces. I don't think we'd see them as heels.
No.
In terms of anyone, I don't think anybody in the tag roster could be Authority tag champs. They're probably going to bring. It's either going to be a new team or they're going to put a team together of two guys who at the two like breakout single stars waiting to happen, who will eventually be the Authority's tag champs. You could even have, and again, you've got King Barrett, who I think should be an Authority guy, and maybe even Sheamus as a tag team. But that's dependent if Sheamus wins the IC title or not. I don't really see Sheamus winning it. I think he may win it just to have the title, but I don't see him winning it at all. But this will be, the Authority will have its own team of guys who will be basically the basis of that team. And in terms of AJ Styles, I could see him coming onto NXT to feud with Joe. Or feud with the litter of roster they have there, because you've got guys who eventually will be called up. I don't see Balor staying in NXT for the foreseeable future. I can see him getting called up before the year's end. Same with Hitachi.
Well, I could see him,
Same with
ending
Zayn.
up with an NXT title run at some point.
I'd see like three guys being called up immediately would be Balor, Hitami, and Zayn.
Well, Tommy's going to be out for a while, so not...
Yeah, Tommy hurt his rotator cuff, so he's done for at least
I think
a year.
Zayn is hurt his shoulder, too, so...
Yeah,
But they've
Zayn
been
tore
kind
his
of tight-lipped
shoulder.
about that one.
No, but I'm saying before the end of the year, I see these three guys getting called up, so I don't see them.
Well,
Okay.
no,
So they
here's the
will-
thing: is these guys are going to be out for a long time. They're going to miss like 8 or 9 months.
It's like 6 to
like-
8 or something on that
Yeah.
on those injuries, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna miss a lot of time. So I mean, now is I think the time that they're gonna like bring. I don't think now is a good time for them to bring up Balor. I think having Balor defeat Kevin Owens, or have it actually works even better if nobody beats Kevin Owens and he just renounces his title because he can't hold 2 titles at once, and I'll go into why I think he's going to be holding 2 titles at once at the end of the show.
Well, because I know Owens is going to be kind of down there periodically. He's still the NXT champion, so he's still going to do stuff on the main roster and pop up power bombing Cena, which is glorious.
God, it's again, if you would have told me 5 years ago that this is what I'd be watching Kevin Steen work a program with John Cena, I'd be like, you're fucking high, and I want some of whatever you're fucking smoking and or snorting. Because that shit is just never gonna happen.
Okay,
And-
I call it right now, right? Rollins is going to be facing, going off against Lesnar, and they're going to end up having to try and stack the deck against Lesnar, and dodging him and doing whatever they can. I do see, and I'm going to say this, even though people are just like, well, Paul Heyman's his Jew. The fact is,
I'm sorry, I love that.
Heyman is eventually going to turn on him and side with the Authority, because Heyman works best as a heel. He's not a good face.
Yeah, I mean, we all love Heyman, but man, that guy is a heel. He can get a crowd riled up like no other, man.
But also, he could
And
be
guess
the
what?
guy who's-
When Heyman talks, people listen.
Yeah, and he could also, basically, we could even see a re-emergence of the Dangerous Alliance, in a sense. Have Heyman be the mouthpiece for the Authority when Trips and Steph aren't there. Because it gives Heyman a lot more to do, and it gives him more meatier storylines, and also work with a bunch of guys and kind of cultivate these people into being the next level talents. Rollins
Right, well,
is
it's
your
kind of how
friend.
Evolution, if the idea you bring in kind of more younger guys for the Authority, that's kind of how Evolution was. You had Triple H and Flair as the veterans, and then you had Orton and Batista as the young guys, and
No, I get what you're saying. I think we're putting a bit too much, not faith in Paul Heyman, but Heyman's doing his own thing at this point in time. Heyman really is essentially really just only in the WWE as Brock Lesnar's. I really consider these more doing like. Yeah, he's doing consulting work, I guess you could say.
Right.
Like, he's available if they need them, but he's not in like the day-to-day meetings. He's doing his own thing. He's running his own company.
He's a
Right.
talent. He's basically a talent, and he's there to get people over. And I think the main thing here is if you're going to make Lesnar into a proper face, a white meat baby face, Heyman can't be around him.
Right.
Because
it's like how, Lesnar.
But I think Lesnar's character is bigger than like, heel face disposition, I think, at this point. I think people, no matter what Brock Lesnar does in the ring, Brock Lesnar, as long as he doesn't like eat puppies in the middle of the ring or kick babies, people are gonna cheer for him.
He would do that anyway. If he kicked babies, people just cheer him anyway.
Yes, that's very true.
Well, look, like I said before, Lesnar's been permanently turned face when he F5'd Michael Cole into oblivion.
Yeah, no.
By the way, it's still one of my favorite moments. And when he did it, I even cheered. I was like, yes! The fucker deserves it!
Yeah, like I said, it was part that Raw After Mania crowd, part everyone hates Michael Cole. And that crowd officially jumped the shark.
Oh my god! Yeah, no, that's what put that whole episode over the top, I think, and that was still to this day baffles me. He threw Michael Cole like it was nothing.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
also,
I mean,
you know what? And it gave closure to Cole's previous storyline when he was going out in the singlet trying to wrestle and stuff. It was like when he just picked him up and gave him an F5, the whole crowd just erupted, and everyone beat the fuck out of it.
Let's not remind me. I don't need to get into a rant about how much that ridiculous feud with Lawler went on too long, but it went on too long.
If Cena wants to be cheered by the crowd, just pick up Michael Cole and just give him a fucking FU.
Yeah, if you want to turn Kevin Owens babyface, have him powerbomb Michael Cole. Michael Cole, he turns people babyface.
Exactly. But going on for that, because we went on a bit of a tangent here, AJ Styles, I really believe that they're going to bring him onto NXT to be the next guy there. And I think it's their way of giving these independent guys a chance, these indie guys who they usually wouldn't look into because they're established stars that can help build their independent brand. Which, truthfully, I used to be so like, fuck the brand extension. I hate you for not having the brand extension. I'm loving the fact because NXT seems like
we have brand extension again.
Yeah, and it works because it's a smaller brand, it's a pocket brand, and it works so much better. It even has a lot of better talent. The women on there, fuck me.
Holy shit!
And they can hold their own, right? I've never seen it. Like, Becky Lynch, man, I want to fucking power drive her.
God damn it, Burhan!
I was gonna try and do something. About the NXT women, I think the talent is there in Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. They're coming around, I think, with Alexa Bliss and putting her with Blake and Murphy. It's also going to
Or as the Spoony one calls them, the dubstep assholes. And I'm with that. After watching their entrance with Alexa Misery, as I'm now going to call her.
Oh, man.
It's like when that stupid zoom out when Alexa Bliss is on stage.
You just keep the camera on her. You just keep the camera on her at all times.
Yes.
Yeah, because Blake and Murphy are generic. But they're trying everything their hardest to make these guys relevant, and I like it. They need a bit more personality, but that NXT is the place to do it at. I was talking to Steve about this recently.
Yes.
And said it's the place where if you don't get something right, they can just take you and they can make it into a storyline to repackage you with something else. Look what I did with Emma.
Yeah.
Yes, Evil Emma.
I love it. I love her current gimmick. I love the fact that she's transitioned from being the goofy girl to this.
Who dances the music change.
Yeah.
She's not doing the little dance anymore. She's going all in with this.
She's still kind of like pantomimes it like a little bit, like half.
It just kind of teases it like,
or patronizingly, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact is Dana Brooke's still not very established. She doesn't work.
Yeah, here's the thing. Dana Brooke is like trying too hard. This is what I was trying to say. Dana Brooke is trying too hard. Like Dana Brooke, after everything she does her pose. Like I don't know if people like who told her to do that. But
I do
they
like
need to tell her to stop.
No, it's not working.
The thing is, though, I do like the fact that she's Emma's muscle now. If you saw her in a recent episode of NXT with Emma,
Yeah.
Emma's like directing her, and I think that's the best way to be. She's got to be her muscle.
Right.
She's her Tamina
Yeah.
Snuka in a sense.
No, I was actually gonna say that she's a lot more believable muscle than Tamina Snuka is. So,
Fair enough.
but
And
beyond
remember,
that,
it's developmental.
She's the aggressive. Yeah, she's the
Yeah.
aggressive, and eventually, it's kind of what they did with Becky Lynch. They partnered her up with Sasha Banks. She was her muscle. She was like her. She wasn't
backup.
an equal. Yeah, she was her backup. She was the girl that would get her out of trouble. And then they slowly developed her character. At the moment, she does look like a steampunk version of Edge, but I like it. I can dig it. The fact is, her character's working. These girls can put on fucking like marathons in terms of matches. It works for what it is, and it's a great thing. Is if something doesn't work, what you do is you just slowly phase it out in something else, and see how that run with that a few weeks, see how that goes, see how the audience appreciates it, and then do something else. And that's what they're doing with these teams, these individuals. They're just basically playing around, seeing what works, and making it a part of the storyline and transitioning from one motion to the other. And that's the way that NXT should be done. That's the way, and that's why I think it's so successful. But you've got to take the green talent and partner them up with these amazing established indie talents like Styles, like Joe, to kind of give them that versatility that they need to make them work. Look how much Charlotte has grown, because she went from being a greenhorn to someone who's now an established character in her own right, who can move and work like a veteran, because you've got these established talents that's worked with her and cultivated her into being a main event female player. Think about that. And because you've had, you gotta eventually see guys like AJ Styles in the company, and I probably, even if their egos don't get in the way, I could even see the Young Bucks, because I really think there's potential in them.
I mean the Bucks are over, but I don't think, I don't know if they'd let them get away with the stuff. They wouldn't work in a PG environment.
No, but I think that they were.
First of all,
flipping double team.
Yeah,
tombstones.
exactly. They wouldn't let them do. They say, okay, yeah, that thing where your brother gets him in the tombstone and you do that flip thing off the top, and you're not doing that anymore. The super kick party, okay, you could do that, but we're only gonna do it.
I'd be fine with the super kick party, which I like. I always love a good super kick. It's always been a great finisher.
And they got to get the announcers to go super kick.
Oh yeah, that's what makes it. That's what makes it, man.
Exactly. So I could see that happening. I could even see veterans like Shelton Benjamin making their way back to NXT to kind of help out and transition the next generation of talent.
Yes,
it can happen. And
gold standard, baby.
Yeah, and they could see these guys, once they get over, they will move them onto the main roster. Eventually, the ones that they want, they can pick from the talent pool, and that's the great thing about NXT, and that's why it works so well. The thing is, no one stands out from anyone else. You just watch these guys go, and once you realize that, oh, fuck me, these guys are amazing talents, you move on to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And it keeps going like that, and it keeps transitioning. And
it's like what they have Rhino, kind of what they have Rhino doing right now. He's there, he's working with Baron Corbin, big, veteran, trying to help.
Baron needs to learn to basically fucking do more than just, I'm big and I'm dominating. It doesn't work.
End of day, more than the end of days.
It's an old school WWE thing, and I really believe there's potential, but there's got to be more there, and I can see they're slowly transitioning him to give him more of a repertoire. But at the moment, what he's doing isn't working.
Molding him.
He's like the male.
He's learning, and that's why it's developmental. That's the one thing you got to remember.
Yeah.
He's got a look. He's got a presence.
Yeah, and
he's got size. He's got a hell of a finisher. I've said it before. I love the end of days.
And that's the thing. And I think if they give AJ Styles a similar contract to Joe, where he can work independent dates as well as do what he's doing in NXT, there's no issue. I think Styles will sign on the bottom line. And eventually, once they move him up to a main roster contract, he'll do it. Because I know for one thing, Styles wants to be a part of WWE. They just can't. They haven't met in the middle. The same goes for the Bucks. The same goes for anyone else. They don't want to just stay in developmental and be paid next to nothing. They want to be paid. They don't mind doing it and doing other things at the same time, as long as they are allowed to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't think he gives up going to New Japan. I just don't think WWE. I don't know what his New Japan deal is like, but I'm sure it's a healthy stipend. I don't think he gives up the glamour of being IWGP Heavyweight Champion, the man with the belt. I mean, I don't know how much longer this thing is gonna last. The Gaijin with the belt, but
Right.
you know, as long as he's got the belt, as long as he's got the belt. Yeah, as long as he's got the belt, as long as Bullet Club's still a thing, I think they try and keep it together, and I just don't see any of those guys leaving that because, like I said, Bullet Club is probably the second, third hottest thing in wrestling that's not, or at least the hottest thing in wrestling that's not in the WWE right now.
Yep.
The thing is, it is what it is, and you know, going on from that. Should we move on to? Is there any more news that we need to discuss, guys?
I just say elimination chamber previews, and let's bring it home because I want to watch some fucking hockey.
Cool.
I want to watch hockey with.
So we've pretty much hit all we needed to hit.
So we'll follow you over, Nick. Do you want to give us the play-by-play on this, because you usually do the skinny on this stuff?
Yeah. Let me. I haven't gotten the. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Well, might as well start with the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, let's start doing it. Do you want to do the big stuff and then sandwich it? Do the one big one, the tag team title, and then there's the.
Well, you want to do the.
Well,
we've got some big matches on this card. Let's see.
Let's start with the IC belt first, then, and go from there. The IC belt there's a rumor going around at the moment that Rusev is injured and he's not going to be able to be an
rumor. There's a goddamn picture of it on the internet of him sitting in a wheelchair with a boot on his leg.
The thing about it is, apparently it's been rumored again. There's been murmurs going around that Bray Wyatt is going to be taking his place. So I will put an indefinite on this and a mark. Your new Intercontinental Champion is going to be Bray Wyatt.
You think?
I've said this before when it comes to Bray Wyatt. I just think his gimmick right now goes beyond minor titles. I think he doesn't need that to get momentum. I think if he keeps doing what he's doing, people are gonna warm to it. Look, people are still holding their cell phone out, you know, while he comes to the ring. People are still cheering for the most part. You know,
they're still following the buzzards.
Well, the fact is, you've got guys like Kofi Kingston, who is a numerous-time tag champ, IC champ, and also United States champ. They can't do a Jake the Snake gimmick where you have a guy who has never won a title in his entirety of his career. Bray Wyatt, and they need someone to elevate the Intercontinental Championship, and what best way to do it than to have the man who has had matches with The Undertaker, John Cena, Daniel Bryan. He's main evented, co-main evented pay-per-views. This man deserves, he needs the Intercontinental Championship. You know what? Scratch that. The title needs him.
I disagree with you. I think he doesn't need the title, and the title doesn't need him. I think that at this point in time, the Intercontinental title, no matter who holds it, people are going to be a little disappointed because,
it's not Neville.
From Daniel. It's not Neville. It's not Daniel Bryan. Dolph Ziggler's not even in this Elimination Chamber.
No, he's in it. He's in it.
Okay, he is.
It's Sheamus, Ryback, Truth, Barrett, King Barrett, and looks like Bray Wyatt and Ziggler. So
R-Truth continue to getting placement in title matches based purely on seniority.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm fine with it. If he walks away with the Intercontinental Championship, I'll be happy because
I'd be fine with it. I like R-Truth, man.
Same.
He's great. He's freaking great.
And the fact he's gone back to his kind of psycho R-Truth gimmick, but giving a whole face pull to it, I love it. Out of
instead of angry black man, he's crazy black man.
Yeah, I don't mind crazy black man. Crazy black man does a lot for me. So I'm happy with that.
Hey, Lil Jimmy, he's being a good R-Truth.
Exactly. And the spiders thing cracks me up. The fact that he basically, when he tried to get the fucking belt and had spiders fall on him and fucking dropped off the ladder, I cracked up. It's one of those things where I don't have an issue with R-Truth. I think he's a guy who sorely deserves to be in a main event title picture, and at the moment the Intercontinental title is being treated as a second tier main event title. So I'm happy for that. And in the end, if I don't see, like, for me, my odds-on favourite would be Bray Wyatt at this point in time. If it, like, for the faces, I could see Truth winning it because it's the only title he hasn't won yet.
Speaking of people, the only people who haven't won a title yet, and here's my prediction for it: Shamus. Shamus is your new Intercontinental's champion.
Oh fuck! I hope not. That guy's gimmick is so shit.
You know what? I got a sinking feeling that this is it. That this is what they need to push. They're gonna push him.
Fucking lame run because his US title run was so fucking lame. I mean, lame with a capital L.
So you're saying it's going to be Rocksteady?
Yes, I think Rocksteady is going to win the new Intercontinental champion.
I had to cram that joke in there.
Yeah, by the way, that photo looked so fucking gay. I'm sorry.
It just looks weird.
Whatever.
And homosexuals look at that and go, "Motherfucker, you're gay."
But by the way, not only is Sheamus Rocksteady, but it looks like also Virgil is Bebop. By the way, they put the nice purple mohawk.
Isn't that comedian? He's like this. He's like
I don't know.
Kevin Hart.
No, he's like a comedy actor. I don't know what the fuck the guy is.
Not all black comedians look alike, Matt or Nick.
So you think comedian? I don't know. I just thought Kevin Hart off the top of my head.
No.
Whatever.
No, not Kevin Hart. Not the Kevin Hart. As Iron Sheik would say. But I just think Sheamus is the one title he hasn't won. You know, let's give it. They're gonna give it to him now.
I hope they don't give it to Mr. Mayonnaise. Not yet. The best idea would probably give it to a.
So you're gonna say it's a shameful thing if they give him the Intercontinental title?
Carol's man gonna wind up dead.
Basically, if they gave it to anyone, they should give it to a white meat babyface, and then have Sheamus destroy him for the championship later on.
Well, you know, he could do that in the Elimination Chamber, like as somebody who's the R-Truth is about to win, bro kick, game set match.
Game set match,
Truth,
yeah.
And then have Truth chase him.
Something like that. But yeah, I just think it's Sheamus's time. Plus, also we got rumors of or reported leaks of WWE advertising house shows with WWE Intercontinental Champion Sheamus. So I'm sticking with the leaks or the local ad spots that weren't supposed to air that aired that advertised him as champion. That's my basis.
I really.
So you're saying it's going to Sheamus and King Barrett, basically?
Yeah.
You know, here's my problem with it. I think Neville should have been in this match. Because then it could have been down to him and Barrett because of that ridiculous finish at Payback. I thought I would have been fine with it if it was going into where Neville wins the Intercontinental title. You know, he pins Barrett in the match. But nope. Again, I should be hashtag WWE logic. Neville's in the match with Bo Dallas. So I'm going to go with Sheamus in the IC title match.
All right. So we got 2 for Sheamus, 1 for Bray Wyatt. We'll see next week who's right. Moving on. Do we want to talk about? I want to
move on to one I just mentioned, Neville versus Bo Dallas.
Yes, let's Bo mention it. Snorefest. I think this is going to be for the pre-show. I think think
it's going to be pre-show?
I think this match has pre-show written all over it. If they're doing a pre-show, which they usually do, and I think this is a match that's going to be on it. Doesn't really serve any purpose to the main card. So. Why waste time on your main card for it? It's going to be a pre-show match. That being said, Neville wins. Because
I go with the man whose first name WWE forgot.
Yes.
I say it's going to be a good match. I mean, I remember watching the ladder match Neville and Bo had, and they actually brought that up in the segment a week or two ago, where Neville mentioned, "Hey, you remember who I beat to start my NXT title run? Oh yeah, I believe I beat you."
I think what this program is showing, or is at least getting people to realize, is that Bo Dallas can cut a promo. Like, big surprise, you know. The guy's actually entertaining on the mic, and he can work a capable match. So I think this is going to be a mutually beneficial feud to both of them. But I think
give them enough time, they can have something here. They have something with this match, I think.
Thing is,
Yeah.
I can see this as it's going to be Bo Dallas winning, upset win over Neville, targeting the knee, and he's going to basically win out of some sort of shenanigans. I've got no.
So
issue
you're
with
saying this is going to be the beginning of the feud?
Yes, I can see them having continue the feud, and it's going to build up, and eventually it's going to have a lot more oomph to it in a sense. At the moment, I see
there's going to be more on the
dry.
line.
Yeah, it's going to be being a little bit more dry at the mo, but it's going to build up and be one of those match. It's going to eventually you're going to see these two guys put on a clinic, but at the moment, it's going to be a bit one-sided, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. What do we want to hit? We want to hit the triple threat Divas title match.
that I didn't even know was existing. Yeah, sure.
Yes,
we can do that.
triple threat match. We have Naomi will be challenging Nikki Bella, and also challenging is the raven-haired goddess herself, Paige.
Mother of canaries.
Yep.
My East Anglian goddess.
I'm putting it as Naomi wins.
I can't not root for Paige. Like I realize that yes, they are pushing Naomi heavily, but my unabashed crush for Paige.
Yes,
it's a crush. I've never met the woman before, but yeah, my undying affection for her prevents me from selecting anybody else. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's avoid that. So here's how I see it.
We're all
remember,
pretty much,
Naomi took out Paige a while ago in that little Divas Battle Royale thing, which, whatever. So I say Naomi pins Paige. I'm saying Naomi wins it, but Nikki is not involved in the decision. Or, Naomi wins somehow, but let's say she pins Nikki. It's because, let's say Paige hits the Paige Turner, and then boom, Naomi sneaks in and steals it. So now you've got Paige chasing Naomi for the title.
At the moment, especially due to the whole Tough Enough obligations, I really don't see Paige being that frequent yet. You're going to probably have like the Bellas chasing Naomi, and then eventually when Paige comes back full time on the roster, she'll be the one doing the chasing.
I think she's back now. And she could do Tough Enough and work the full-time schedule. Absolutely. Paige wins, or at least that's what I want. God damn it, let me have it. Let me think that this is gonna happen.
Okay.
Are you tough enough in the bedroom, Brandon?
I'm very tough enough in the bedroom, even though I don't like it when we go there. But yes, I
creepy
will
Page moment of the week.
Take the high road.
That's like Brandon has hit 3 creepy Page moments in one podcast. That's
well, I mean, we made up for it. We had like 2 weeks without it, so we're trying to get it all in. And
we had
the funniest thing is
crushing on Alexa Bliss and
it was. Yes.
Me and Dave aren't the creepiest thing on the podcast this week. That's kind of Brandon making up for the both of us.
I know. I had to pick up some of the slack,
Yeah. Anyway, so ready to move on to the next match?
Yes, please.
Let's see, we want to hit up the other, the Teddy Long special Elimination Chamber.
Yes, the Teddy Long Dream segment.
Yes.
An Elimination Chamber
tag
team. A tag team Elimination Chamber match. Yeah, I'm still not really quite sure how this is going to work. How they said it's going to work is going to be like one member of each team in the ring at the same time, and then eventually, oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, hockey. Then, like, eventually one member from each team goes in, or is it, like, 2 teams going to be a pod?
It's basically 2 people per pod. And I'm seeing the Lucha Dragons winning this.
You think so? Man, I think the New Day gimmick still has some juice to it, so obviously New Day finds a way.
I'm going all left field, aren't I? I'm really going left field. But
you're going totally left field with a lot of your predictions.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Lucha Dragons.
Okay, all right. I can respect that. I respect you going out on a limb, but I just think this New Day gimmick has some legs still in it. Obviously, people are still booing them, so they're still generating heat. So
yep. And after the promo they cut at Payback, I say New Day managed to retain it.
Yeah.
And then the next night, they'll be able to rub it in everybody's faces. Ha! You didn't think we were going to retain the titles,
Yeah, I
And
think
they'll do their gimmick with it, and
yeah, this still has juice left in it, so they're not gonna move on from it just yet.
no.
But that being said, I would like to see best team ever, but I just don't think that they had their chance with the tag titles and they didn't make anything out of it. It's going to be sad that this is probably one of the greatest tag teams of all time. It could have been. Basically, just was there just to get the New Day over. Yeah. So moving on.
Now it looks like we got 2 left. We've got John Cena versus Kevin Owens.
Do we want to do that, or do we want to do the title match first?
I want to hit up Seth Rollins versus Titty Master.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Seth Rollins versus
the
Titty Master because the U.S. title match is something very important for wrestling, and I'm sure we all have something to say on it. So let's talk about the title match. Anybody else first? Want to go first?
It's going to be Rollins retains. I mean,
Yeah.
They're not taking the belt off of Seth just yet.
No.
I get the feeling that Ambrose is going to win the Money in the Bank, and then he's going to come in. It's going to be Lesnar versus Rollins because, remember, Lesnar has a legitimate beef. He was never pinned when Rollins came in through the damn back door. Heist of the century.
Yes, no, you in all likelihood could be right, but we're in agreement with the outcome. Seth Rollins' title reign is not ending on at Elimination Chamber to Dean Ambrose of all people. They're saving this for SummerSlam, Survivor Series, a big show, a really
it's going to be a
event.
big deal.
Yeah,
yes.
A big deal. I think we're going to see a great match, though. I think these two guys are going to pull out all the stops. There's someone's going to put the governor on them, though, because I'm sure there's going to be some ideas that someone's going to want to do that they're not. But there's going to be an oh shit moment in this feud. There's going to be moments where we're going to think that okay, maybe we're wrong. Maybe Ambrose is going to win this because I just think he's that capable of putting that kind of performance on to make you believe that. But logic just dictates that Seth Rollins retains his title and keeps the momentum train going. Burhan, are you going to go out of left field on this one, or do you finally see logic?
No, I see logic in this of Seth Rollins winning, but I'm going to give you one better. I see Roman Reigns turning on Ambrose and costing him the match.
It just makes no sense. Why are you investing all this time in television?
Let me explain why. Brock Lesnar's going to be coming back as a white meat babyface to chase. Rollins is going to need someone because Rollins is this generation's Ric Flair. By any means, anybody who says otherwise is an idiot, as far as I'm concerned. He is this generation's Ric Flair. He is the guy to beat, but he's also the guy who can be beaten. He's the guy that you're capable. Flair was always the guy that people sat there and went, he could be beat. But there was always that little bit, that people who trying to beat him by a hair ending up getting destroyed because of certain things that's happened. So
yeah, it's the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, I see Rollins basically starting to get his wind here as Ambrose basically gets to the point where he's about to win. He's about to win and everyone's like, fuck me, he's going to win. And then Reigns comes in and basically destroys. Either it happens this way: he either destroys Ambrose, and people are like, "Boo! I knew you were a fucking cunt," or it's going to be he accidentally costs Ambrose the match, and it starts a feud between the two.
I see way more accidental than intentional. I think that's the only way. Yeah. That Ambrose has any, Rollins has, or Reigns has any involvement in this match between the two.
It's accidental. Ref gets knocked out, usual ref bump, whatever. J&J or whatever.
Yeah, he comes out to even up the sides and, misses the Superman punch or the spear and accidentally hits Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, like, Ambrose has, is holding Rollins up and then Rollins ducks out of the way. Bam! Superman punch knocks out Ambrose. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Like that's the only way I see the situation you're talking about there. But that wouldn't turn Reigns heel.
No.
I think they're devoting way too much time in trying to get this guy over to just to quit now. If they were going to turn him heel in the summer, they would have just done that already. I think Roman Reigns, like I said before, Roman Reigns is going to be the guy that's going to be on our television screens for the next 5 to 10 years.
I still see it happening where Reigns eventually does turn heel, like what they did with The Rock. They organically turn him and then eventually put him as a babyface afterwards after he's found his character.
Different times, man. Different times.
I disagree. I think at the moment, times are need for a changing. They've tried to force him down.
Different times and a different guy. Roman Reigns is not The Rock. We've seen this in promos.
People's throats, and it ended up nearly costing him the entirety of his push. I think this way he could at least be pushed as a lead heel.
For fuck's sake, Hank.
That's
hockey.
That's my opinion on the matter, anyway. But yeah, I could see Ambrose not winning, but becoming an inch of winning. Hell, I could even see Ambrose going so far as to winning the Money in the Bank later on, and getting the opportunity afterwards.
That's for next month because I have interesting theories on that I will eventually might share. Anyway. So, talking about the match that I know all of us are wanting to see because this is, like I said before, something that 5-6 years ago I didn't think was even a possibility.
We would have never seen this coming 5-6 years ago.
Never seen this coming. This was so far out of the radar we couldn't even fathom this.
One thing I do have to say about this is Cena called him boy. That was laughable.
Yeah, no, that whole God. Listen, the build to this, they haven't done much. I'm sure they don't have to write much promos. It's just like, all right, you guys, you don't know each other, but you know what everybody wants you to say.
Just go out there and shoot on each other.
Whether or not you actually feel it that you're saying it is something completely different. But everybody knows what you guys want to say. They don't need much coaching. And I'm sure, especially when it came to Owens, he knew exactly what he wanted to say. He's like, as soon as he was signed to the WWE, and as soon as they, said that you were working with John Cena, he probably thought, okay, I'm gonna have to think of something, and that's what we got. 57 varieties of bad T-shirts, and 1,000 ways to suck.
Yes, I love that.
Oh my God!
It's a great way that they've done this. They've built it up properly. The fact that they managed to bring this together from the Sami Zayn Cena interaction, it's basically made a feud that as soon as I saw this happen from the first pop-up powerbomb, I jizzed my pants.
Yeah, no, it's been a moment that wrestling fans have probably were salivating for the second Kevin Steen got signed, and it's happening much sooner than anybody anticipated.
But you know what the funny thing about it is? People thought that Steen wouldn't last. They felt that Owens
people thought that it wouldn't get over. That's the thing that I thought. I was like, oh, this guy's going to be a bum. They're not going to know how to use him. They're not going to use him the right way.
That was the fear.
Or as Russo and his whole intellectual property and mind, because he obviously...
Obviously.
That guy like Sami Zayn and Kevin Steen couldn't draw a dime because Vince Russo knows everything, fucking hack.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, he doesn't.
Do you
Fuck
know what
Russo.
I mean? Right? Triple H, and I have to give kudos to Triple H. I may not have seen eye to eye in what Triple H has done in most of his career, including him winning over Sting. I didn't see the logistics behind it. But in terms to, being someone who's taken over the company, has shown in spades, no matter what you think of him, that he has a brain for this business and he knows what true talent is all about. And, you could tell fucking the former Kevin Steen, now Owens, is so fucking grateful for his push that he hasn't disappointed. He is every single fucking hoop he's put in his corner with fucking flames around it for him to jump through. This dude has fucking jumped through it and powerbombed people through the fucking thing. He has shown...
Pop-up powerbomb everybody.
he is shown as a talent that he's gotten over, and he is probably one of the most dominant heels that we've seen past, in a long time. Sans Brock Lesnar, of course, but he's a star in the making. He's going to be your next monster heel who is so patronizing. He's got a chip on his shoulder, very similar to how Rollins came in, and he wants to make sure that he can show you that he can draw very much more as guys like Cena, as guys like fucking Taker, still does, as guys like the past, like your CM Punks, like your Steve Austins. He's shown that he knows he is willing to do what it takes and has what it takes. And for me, I think it basically cultivates in a United States title win on this pay-per-view. It's
not for the title, though.
Ah, fuck. Well, I still believe he will beat Cena. And Cena is going to be looking up at the fucking lights when Owens does.
It's not. This match isn't for the title?
No.
It did say champion
versus champion, but it's not with the title on the line.
I don't understand why he wouldn't have it for the title.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was his response to the John Cena Open Challenge. Anyway, all right. Well, that totally messes up how I thought it was going to be.
Well, Owens had said that he fights for a prize, but he said that he has the real prize, and that's the NXT title.
Yes, that's very true. I remember that, and then he stepped on the title. Why would he want a title that he stepped on?
I'm going to check this out and see, because I've got a funny feeling this is going to be.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, because he's kind of like stepped on the title, so he's kind of like was putting over the NXT brand over that. So why would he want a title that he stepped on? It makes sense that it's not for the title. It slightly affects my decision making on what I want to do as my prediction, because I had essentially two predictions. Is what I want. Obviously, what I wanted was Kevin Owens to win, but I thought it was going to be Cena wins, LOL. But now the fact that it's not for the title, I'm actually switching that. I actually think Kevin Owens might actually win this match.
In other words, Cena is not kicking out at 2.
No, or Cena will there would be some sort of disqualification, I think, or something like that. I don't want to definitively say that, but Kevin Owens wins. Kevin Owens wins. Because I think we'll see a lot of people in that crowd. I don't remember where this event is taking place, but that will have that.
Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yeah,
one of the few places that can hold that frickin' chamber.
Yeah. Then it's a predominantly Southern crowd, so I don't think. Yeah, you won't be seeing a lot of the "if Cena wins, we riot" signs or anything like that. You'll see a few, but so yeah, it could be. I don't know. I'd like to see Owens win just because. But again, I wouldn't be surprised that if that's what WWE does, they want to take their guy and put him over the indie darling.
You know what? I think there's been a bit more investment in terms of Owens. I don't think that they're going to have Cena go over him. I really believe that it's going to turn into a situation where this is going to eventually lead to Owens being called up to the main roster, probably within the month. I see him beating Cena, and I see it moving into a United States title match at the next pay-per-view. If this isn't for the title, I'm still not convinced.
I like the fact that he's coming out with the champ is here shirts, and I want more of this feud. I don't want this to end. I hope this really goes on a little bit further than just this pay-per-view.
Hell, it could even go into a situation where it's like Cena can't beat him. Imagine that if it turns into a situation where Owens has a 2-0 victory over Cena and Cena can't defeat him by pinning him in the ring. It's ain't gonna. That wouldn't hurt Cena at all, and it could raise Owens' stock. But
there's nothing that could hurt John Cena at this point. I think the only thing that could hurt John Cena at this point is turning heel.
Yeah, at this point, there's no way they're ever turning Cena heel. Cena's never turning heel.
Just makes no sense.
Come on. Yeah. So, I'd say we get, Kevin Owens is going to win. He's going to pop up powerbomb Cena into oblivion, and there won't be any kicking out at 2.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. All right, so that's it. We did our Elimination Chamber previews. I think we're going to see a good pay-per-view.
Are we all saying that it's going to be Cena versus Owens, and that Owens is winning here?
We're all I think in agreement of that, but we haven't seen the last of it. I think.
No.
No matter who wins, I think this. I think and hope that this feud has more airtime left to it.
Really, I mean, come on. When you got Kevin Owens coming out on TV saying Cena's got 57 different ugly T-shirts and 1,000 ways to suck.
Yeah,
God.
And stamping on the belt. I mean, that was such a classic heel move that hasn't been done.
Oh my God, it was so freaking good.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, just putting over, NXT is the brand. I love it.
Yeah, just flawless. Flawless job, WWE, in building and booking this feud. So, Iron Sheik tweet of the week?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I get back and watch the third period of hockey, and as pray for the Rangers to score a goal.
Yes.
Fuck him! I talked him! I wanna know, are you the man or are you a fucking piece of shit? No good motherfucker! Fucking bullshit! Bullshit, don't go
I love that. I love it. So I got a double special. I got a double special Iron Sheik tweet of the week.
A double special secret probation Iron Sheik tweet of the week?
No, just a double special. Like one that's not, one sentimental tweet, and then obviously
not one Virgil joining Twitter related.
Yeah, no. Well, I did think about that, but no, I got one that's even funnier.
No,
than
we've got our Virgil joining Twitter last week, so
yeah. I actually something I should have talked about last week. We approached the 15-year anniversary of the death of Owen Hart last week. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. It's really kind of a hard issue to talk about. But probably should have, but we didn't. That's our bad. We'll try and get it next year. Today, I miss my brother. Owen. Yeah. Today, I miss my brother, the Owen Hart. I love my Hart family. God bless them all. So that's Iron Sheik. Continue to be the most greatest guy in wrestling. But
classy man. He can be an absolute classy man.
Yeah, absolutely. Now here's something more in the traditional Iron Sheik tweet of the week.
Usual.
He was watching this weekend was also the Indianapolis 500.
Okay.
And obviously Iron Sheik was watching because he said Juan Pablo Montoya and his brother, the Aldo Montoya, both impressed the legend. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Iron Sheik tweet of the week. Just for the Aldo Montoya reference.
So, going on from that one, I think...
Where was it? Where's the...
Oh, yes, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your Iron Sheik tweet of the week.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Plugs.
No editing that in this week.
Yeah. So basically, I want to, do a quick little plug thing for things. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, for those who don't know, I am also, I wear many hats. I'm an actor / presenter / entertainer of sorts and director. And if you want to basically follow me and follow many of my projects and what I do, of course, you can go onto my Facebook page, which is now facebook.com/Michael Burhan Actor. I don't direct people to my personal Facebook page anymore, just due to the fact that this is where you can get all updates on everything that I do, including I Got Gameplay, Nerd Genius, whatever the hell you want to basically take a look at. All my stuff is on there. Plus, it doesn't get cluttered up with all my friends posting on my timeline.
Yep.
And secondly, for those who don't know, I spent last week at the MCM Comic Con from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I nearly damn killed myself doing all these interviews, press interviews with John Noble from Fringe, Gideon Emery from Daredevil, Felicia Day from Supernatural, of course, as well, Doll's House, and loads of other little shows that she has done.
Or as I call her, Felicia Bay. What's up?
And also I've done some interviews with some other people as well, because what I tend to do is I tend to go from both sides. I don't just try and get the big names. I also try to do the independent people as well, like the artists who are trying to build up their brands, the comic book makers, such as the gentleman who's wrote in a book called Twisted Dark, Mr. Neil Gibson himself, and also Jean-Paul Bove, the amazing comic book artist in his own right. And the reason why I do this is because I want to make sure that the independents, as Brandon puts it a lot more, needs to get love. You know, the next big gaming in the gaming industry is going to be the independent gamers, the game developers who are struggling to make their next game. These are the guys that are going to make themselves successful. The independent artist is going to be the next big comic book artist who probably end up drawing Spider-Man for Marvel Comics. These people are the people that we need to nurture and nourish in terms of the industry, so please make sure that you give these guys some love. And speaking about that, as an independent artist myself, give me some love. Facebook.com/Michael Burhan Actor. Go to my YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/TheNerdGenius, and see a series of interviews I did, which were part 2 of my street interviews. I know it's been a while, it's been about a year since I did the last one. And I just went to a bunch of people lining up for Jessica Negri and thought, you know what? Let's ask these people a question, which was, if you had a favourite superpower, what would it be? What would the superpower be that you could basically use in your whole entirety? Check it out. They were actually very, very fun. People were very hilarious. And it was very, very unique. Also on the channel as well, you can go and see me eat a burger, because that's what I do. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. GMT, 8 p.m. ET, 1 a.m. GMT, I Got Gameplay pre-tape. We have released an episode. It's going to be myself and a Nina Kasky and I believe Jamie Styles interviewing the amazing Larry Bundy Jr. If you don't know who Larry is and you're hiding under a fucking rock, because this guy is amazing, check that out as well. I've got some good projects coming up with Megaran. Got another short film coming out, should be by Sunday. Another movie that I'm going to be directing in June. And if you want to find all things Michael Burhan, on Twitter, Michael Burhan, on Facebook, Michael Burhan Actor, and youtube.com/TheNerdGenius. If you want to see my official show reel, youtube.com/Michael Burhan. And that's it from me. I do apologize for taking everyone's time. Go to the next person.
All right, you can find me over on Twitter at GamingPegasus187. I'm on YouTube at the GamingPegasus187. My Mario 3 playthrough is done. Fucking like half-hour long World 8 video. Me, couple of stupid deaths, whatever. Game finished. Super Metroid. My next one, I'm over on Instagram. Fucking WWE Supercard, Xbox Live, Wii U, Pegasus187. I'm all over the place. Usually most weekends I'm at a bar getting hammered. So, yeah.
There's only one way he's able to get those killer pecs that he models those titles on. Fucking the heavenly body, man. He could be the next Dr. Tom Pritchard. So, going on from that, Mr. Host of Hosts, would you like to close us out?
Yeah, as always on this show, you know how I like to close it out. You could, like me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook. Wait, I said that wrong. Like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, Brandon All Hope. You can find my ramblings mostly about hockey now, and whatever else comes to my mind. If you're listening to this show, you're a professional wrestling fan, obviously.
Yep, Boneyard Productions.
No, they're not putting that over anymore. That's a whole other issue. Yeah, that's a whole other issue. I won't even get into that. You go out there and support independent wrestling out there, because, you never know. You might be seeing the next big WWE champion in your local town or municipality. And for all the good brothers and sisters out there, take care of each other this weekend. If you party safe, party responsibly. Don't have too much fun. Let's go, fucking Rangers! Score some fucking goals, or next week I'm gonna be miserable. So, on that note, for the absent Dave Wade, for Tom Shaw, who was not able to join us but might join us next week, for Michael Burhan, for Nick Horaceck, I'm Brendan Liggan, saying good night. Good night. Go forth and spread beauty and light. Peace, love, and huntiness.
This show is sponsored by Tammy Sitch, aka Sonny's Skype Chats. We all know what they are for, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see bare bones, if you want to see a woman pretty much like Madonna suck the soul and life from you, then please check out Tabby Sitch on Skype. If you want to see something gross, I advise you to give her an email on gmail.com just to make sure that you take a look, and you'll probably die. And luckily enough, at least you can't catch herpes from computers, right? Right? Brazzers.